Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. I just want to go over this symbol, this picture that you see in front of you right now, because there's an awful lot going on here, and I just want to talk about it. So the first thing I want to point out is we're going to do some counts on it and talk about what they've got. We're going to start with the points. So around the sun, or the crown, the head, right? We've got 15 points on that sun. And we got 1 point on the tail, 16. We got 6 points on the star, 2 points on the moon. So we've got 24 points total. So this has a relation to time that we can obviously count the points, right? With the tail as 1, moon is 2, star is 6, sun is 15. 24 hours in a day. Now we can also look at it in terms of 6 and 2 is 8. And if you've got the word that I give everybody that we call the living word, right? You understand that the value of A is 4 and 4, and the third key of A is 8. Well, that's what we've got in here. And then the letter B is 8 and 8, and the third key is 16. So this is a cross of A and B, right? And A and B together is 12, 12, 24. So in here we've got all these points, and we've got basically a cross of A, the equator cross, right? And the north and south portion is B, right? And it's got a above and below context to it, right? 15 above, not as below, 1 below, right? 6 to the left, 2 to the right, also not to the west as to the east, right? But the above and below concept. But they also on the above and below concept, if we're going to link it to the letter positions, we could link this bottom part to the first position, the A, and the top part to the 15th position, the O, and it could have alpha, omega, AO principles to it. And if we continue that and we put the B in the second position here on the moon, it would be A tail, B moon, O sun. Now we're in the blood. And then this star here could be for 6 spots, which would be O minus, A minus, B plus, A plus, O plus, right? For 3 straight pure lines of A, B, and O, right? With the A, B being a mixture of the two, thus it's not starred, right? Not an actual creation. If we're looking at it in terms of blood, the tail is the A, the moon is the B, the sun is the O, and the blood and the star for it. It's for each side, positive and negative, RH factor, A, B, and O. And then our other 2 types, AB and AB minus, are a come later thing if you're looking at it in blood in terms of this, what this symbol could be, right? The ABO blood, 3 on each side, the fourth and the 8th, right? Which would be the 8-point star here instead of the 6, right? If we were reading this ABO and there was the 8-point star here, well, it would throw off all of our 24, right? It would make us 26 points all the way around, right? And it would make it 10 and 16, right? But in terms of blood, it would make a difference when we're looking at A, B, O, tail, moon, sun, in the star, if we had 8 points, it would be different. Then it would be saying A, O, B, and AB, right? Along with the other point for the AB minus. But what this is saying is ABO, ABO minus, ABO plus, AB and AB minus come later. Could be an interpretation of this. So there is a lot going on here, right? In the time, 24 hours a day, everything builds up off of that. The 12 and 12 that's on the clock, right? All of that fits into here. So creation of time is in here. And also from the book of Genesis is the day 4, right? The earth was created before in the Genesis 1. Then on the 4th day, it was the sun and the moon and the stars. So day 4 is also symbolically in here as well. So it's creation of space, right? And creation of time is within this, the 24, right? And it's all about the A and the B. This is another way too. If we could continue the letter position and switch this star of 6 into an F. So it would be A, B, O, F. So it could be read to say of, from, right? Come from A, B, right? What the tail and the moon there in counterclockwise, counter C-lockwise motion, right? Clockwise motion would be coming from the head down and back around, right? Counterclockwise from the tail to the moon is from 1 to 2, and then it would continue, and it would go in a circle, and it would say of A B, of A B, of A B, counterclockwise. The other way, you could maybe say fo B A. But it's again harkens to the 24 of the clock in the different directions, right? It's counterclockwise, right? Of A, B, 16 representing B, 8 representing A, right? The 24 representing them together, the 12, 12, the clock, right? And clockwise motion would be BA, counterclockwise is AB, right? So it's like ABBA, buh, clockwise, ab, counterclockwise. So it's also saying in a creation, all come from the heavens, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? So then A and the B is be representing heavens, and it would be saying of the heavens in a circle here. It's saying of the heavens, of AB, neutron, tail, neutron pair, moon, right? When it was all heavens, there was no matter, no hydrogen, right? So that's a way we could interpret it with the letters, but it said that the earth was formless and void right after that, right? So it's saying of what was nothing but heavens is what we're from. We're from nothing but the heavens, right? Then over here, it's an O and the F, right? It's a charged thing. The O and the letters O and F have charge, plus and minus. It's in hydrogen land. The of is hydrogen based. Everything here is built off of hydrogen. That's what transmutes element upwards, not the neutrons. It's the electron proton that's slightly less than one whole neutron, right? It's the broken half. It's the half and half. So this symbol is for demiurge, and demiurge. Demi is half, and urge is the word dirt, right? So the dirt is all over here. The urge is all over here. The half is all over here. This is the earth later, but the heavens are the one and the two. So it goes around counterclockwise, and it tells also a similar story to Genesis within it, right? And then later, and then like God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and three was light, and all of that, right? And then come down to day four, the sun, the moon, and the stars. So the light that's talked about in 1-3 isn't any of these being shown here: the sun, the moon, or the stars, right? It's a different light. So if we're looking at these in terms of light as well, that tail is could be representing that different light, because Genesis 1-3 is the creation of light, but it is not the sun, the moon, or the stars. So that's another thing that's in this symbol here that can be seen, can be thought about. There's a lot to this symbol. We haven't even got into the serpent symbolism and the lion symbolism, right? One of the big things about serpents is that in most cases on Earth, the female serpent is the bigger and stronger of the pair. I don't think it's in every single case, but in the majority of species of serpents, snakes, the female is the bigger, stronger of the two, right? And of course, it's been linked to wisdom and knowledge and whatnot. Also, knowledge and deception, right? And then the lion and the lioness symbol at the top, right? It's big into all kinds of things. And then if you really want to break it down into two, you could go L, which is 12th slot space ion, right? And half of this A and B in the tail and the moon, the 12-12 there is like an L, and then the ion is the of, right? The the word lion actually has some meaning towards falling from the state of heavens into the state of earth, right? It's like the word lion has a mixture of the L is representing the heavens and ion is representing the earth. So some of that story more into the story of Genesis 1 is within this, but there's a lot of stuff within this, and there's probably things that I haven't mentioned that other people could bring up, but in terms of there's numeric data in here, right? There's a reason they've got that tail there like a point, right? Directly below the sun with all of its points, right? And there's a reason they've got the moon being used as 2 points here with the star that has the 6 points, right? If they put a full moon on there, right, it would change meaning greatly to this. It would break it away from time in the 24. It would break it away from the A and the B connotations that it has, right? Just like I was saying about the 6 and the 8-point star, it would change it greatly in terms of thinking about it in terms of blood, in terms of A and the B and all of that, and what it says about origin and all of these different things. But there's massive amounts of symbolism within here, and not all of it is bad, right? It's a lot of people have a bad association with the the Demiurge and the fake god of this world, right? But reality is none of us really have the level of understanding to be able to comprehend the perspective of what's going on in terms of why is everything created like it is, locked down, right? There's tons of neutrons locked down within tons of death hydrogen, which is proton electron, right? It's it's all about the reasons for it, right? The the intent behind it and what it's supposed to be accomplishing. What is it accomplishing? What is it working for, right? Is it working for all, everything, those in heavenly neutron form and those in fallen hydrogen proton electron form, right? Is it working towards something for everything? Is it locking everything down? The warden, the war end warden, right? Is it locking everything down for its own personal reasons or stubborn deal, right? And then also we can't just look at it in terms of a one-way thing, because everything about this is about halves. There's so much in this. It says half, half, half. That's what Demiurge says as well. Half dirt, half God, right? Demiurge God, half dirt, God, right? And then it also has saying any God in the body, any God within the body is within the dirt, right? So this would be a symbolism for anything that somebody considered to be God that was in a human form, in a body, or this body that it's showing here, right? If somebody considered there was something that looked like this, it's a big snake slithering around that has a lion head, and somebody considered it to be God, while it has a body, it's in the dirt, it's in the urge, right? It would be a God, half body, right? And fallible because it's within the body. It's like a representation, could be a representation of a neutron within the confines of the plus minus electron protons, right? It's the prima materia, right? Absolutely everything is only built out of those two things, the heavens and the earth, right? Every single element is built by electron proton is what transmutes element to element, not neutrons. Though neutrons, too many neutrons getting put into something can cause radioactive things and other things to happen, right? The electron proton changes things, transmutes it. The alchemy of everything is hydrogen. Each additional electron proton will change the thing, and it's neutrons which stabilize it. The right amount of neutrons will stabilize what has been transmuted, right? Or a wrong amount of neutrons, though it could be a right move, right, can destabilize any element. So the neutrons are still, they're symbolic for capability to take apart matter, right? Neutrons can pound into any element that there is, and enough neutrons pounding into it will cause it to become radioactive, and it will start to decay down to some lesser form. So neutrons are actually couldn't be a large reverser, probably the reversers of the entire thing all the way back, right? Whereas additions of electron and proton to it will step it up to a higher element. So everything that's getting built upwards is electron, proton, the of part, the hydrogen, the hydra, the original serpent, the original waters, right? There was no earth and there was no waters in the beginning. It's just heavens and the earth, right? Waters come a little bit later, which is the fall, right? So everything getting built up is through electron, proton, and everything that can get pulled down is from neutrons. So there's a lot of stable elements out there. We could take like oxygen that most people know about it. It's got 8 neutrons, 8 electrons, and 8 protons, right? But even though it's pretty stable, it has a weird thing to it that it likes to bond to other oxygen, which again is like symbolism of a bee. The 8 bonds to the 8 for the O2, and that's what we breathe, right? But it also it's a prison and a trap created for hydrogen. Hydrogen cannot be released on Earth and escape out of Earth's atmosphere because the oxygen within the atmosphere will grab it. It'll grab 2 hydrogen at a time and turn itself into a water molecule. All of our water everywhere here is oxygen locking up hydrogen into a prison type of system here. And our regular water actually has 10 electron proton and only 8 neutrons when it's built of protium, which most of it is, because protium, hydrogen, is the only element that doesn't have a neutron in the nucleus, right? Well, it's not the only element. Helium-2, two hydrogen protiums can collide together and create helium-2, the second waters, right? That's why they say waters, not the water. And they were doing that, right? They were attacking neutrons and they were also attacking each other. They were colliding into each other. But over 999 times when 2 protium atoms collide into each other, they'll form helium-2 and it's very unstable. And it will break right back apart into 2 hydrogen protiums almost instantly, right? So those are the only 2 things that exist at all without a neutron in it. And the only one that's really stable and holds its form is protium hydrogen. And that is also what transmutes everything up the scale. Each time you add a protium hydrogen to an element, it jumps it up the scale 1 higher, right? So everything getting built up, that's the buildup, is the plus minus psi hydrogen. That's a buildup. But all of this, too, it's getting used to be built up. Is another option. You don't have to just look at it as the fallen hydrogen is deciding to build everything up, right? The neutrons can also be deciding to use them to build everything up, right? Once the war in heaven was won by the neutrons and things were tossed down, this is a prison, right? 1/3, 2/3 is all in this, right? The 1/3 of the angels that they say were cast down, right? East and west, this 8 is 1/3. The north and south, 16, 15 and 1, 16 is 2/3, right? So some of that is in there, right? The earth is a prison for hydrogen. Earth is a model. The solar system starts with Mercury, no moons, neutron. Venus, no moons, neutron. Alone, both of them are A. Together, they create B's. C is Earth, and Earth is 1 moon for hydrogen, for the 1 electron, right, on it. And it represents all 3 forms, protium, deuterium, and tritium here on Earth. And Mars is 2 moons for the helium representation. Helium can escape, right? Helium created here can escape Earth's atmosphere because oxygen doesn't bond to it and imprison it like it does to hydrogen, right? You can let loose a ton of hydrogen, could be let loose here today somehow into the atmosphere, right? And none of it's going to escape unless there's so much of it that all of the oxygen is used up and we're flooded out entirely and there's no more oxygen to catch it in the air, or not enough to have a full net. There's a full net of oxygen on Earth that no matter where it is, hydrogen cannot escape in any type of manageable qualities, right? It'd have to be massive amounts, and it would have to create so much water first to fall out, right, to deplete the oxygen before any oxygen, hydrogen would ever be able to escape from Earth. Well, a lot of that stuff is in all of this symbolism, all the creation of everything, the story of in Genesis, all kinds of different things are within this symbol and can be seen within this symbol. And I don't know how long I've been talking here on this little voice recorder, but it hasn't been that long. I'm sure we could talk a long time about all kinds of other things that I haven't even brought up. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this symbol because I was just sitting here looking at it to myself, which I didn't really look at it closely earlier when I picked it out and used it and put it in my video. But there's some heavy duty things that can be looked at, recognized, and seen, right? Recognize what is in your plain sight, and the things that are hidden from you will be revealed to you. There's a lot of things here in your plain sight that will reveal a lot of the things that are hidden from you right now when you are not able to recognize what's going on within this image and all of the symbology. There's tons of words involved in this. There's tons of the numbers, the math, the time, space, the whole deal is involved in what is being shown here in very powerful ways. But there's all kinds. The reason we could go on and on is because there's all kinds of different perspectives in the ways to look at this, right? And when we're looking at this type of stuff here, we shouldn't be looking into the demiurge or a symbol or anything like this and be totally or almost totally looking to try to convict and only come up with negative perspective views about everything going on here, right? We should at least be trying half of the time, as close to half and half of the time as we can, to think about different things that are being shown and what they mean in terms of being positive as negative, right? And also considering the neutral meanings, right? That are not without negative or positive connotations, just neutral, straight up meanings, no pun intended, right? People see snakes and they come up with it's crazy, right? But there's a lot of stuff in here: blood, creation, hydrogen, neutrons, all of it, right? All the letters, all the numbers, all the time, all that stuff. But anyways, with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. And have a nice day.